Hey guys, so I thought I just did a round of tapping EFT on myself, and I thought it would be a really good idea to do a round of tapping for anyone else out there that may need to take themselves off an emotional cliff. So right now I'm still kind of like my skin, my subdermal layer feels like I literally feel like this right now, but I am 80% better than how I felt 10 minutes ago. Okay, 10 minutes ago my heart was literally beating up here. My heart was beating up here. I was in such a place. Now this is how, hey Lexi, this is how fear, anger, and those kinds of emotions work on us. Okay, they cause us to not think straight. They're not the best place to make decisions from. So it was after I did my last round of EFT, I thought I should really do this on camera because there's a lot of people that can use this right now. So, emotions are my work. That's my work. That's what I use in my health coaching, because emotions affect us physically. Okay, they physically affect us, and there's a point at which realizing something can help us help us work through and be better about some emotions. Those emotions of fear, anger, anxiety, distress. But sometimes we need extra tools. Okay. So I want to share this thing first. I realized that, and oh boy, I have to call him back. Okay. I realized that when we are in those emotions of anger and stress, they're not the best place to make decisions from. Now, the anger and stress have a purpose. Okay, they do. They signal us that something is going on that we need to pay attention to. That's their job. They let us know that something's going on we have to pay attention to. But when we have to make the decision of what to do and take the action to change the situation, we cannot make the best decision from that place of anger and fear. We can't do it. Okay. Let that go away. Oops, that's not what I needed to do. How do we do this? Okay. All right, there we go. All right. So, part of what helped me get somewhere into this is realizing that in conversations I've had with people who are Trump supporters, I realize that we're not having the same conversation when we're talking. Right? I say potato and they hear green grass. Like, it's completely, there's no association to the stuff that I'm expressing or trying to explain, and what they're saying to me makes absolutely no sense to me, because I'm like, how is it that you cannot see the racist, bigot, narcissistic behavior? How do you not see that? And then turn around and say this man is here to further God's law. Are you kidding me? Okay. So realizing this, that the stuff that, I read a lot of, I was watching a documentary on a guy who was studying quantum physics yesterday. That's the stuff I watch and listen to. And if they're constantly listening to conservative news channels, we're not having the same conversation, right? We're just not having this. We're just in two completely different universes. So I'm like, okay, I can't talk to you because we're just not talking the same language. So what can I do to help me? Because I need to help me, because I want to be in that place of I can make a good decision when I need to, and I don't want to be in that fear and anger when I make that decision. So this is what I did. So this is EFT. EFT is short for emotional freedom technique. And you know, when EFT was around 30, 40 years ago, was like, hey, this thing works. Like a lot of like traditional Chinese medicine, you know, for thousands of years, it's like this thing works. We don't know why, but now we know why, right? There's a lot of documented stuff that shows, okay, here's why this works. So EFT is like that. Now we have, and you can find it. Now we know the parts of the brain and the body that doing EFT impacts and how that impacts us. So lots of stuff. You can look it up. You can message me. But right now, what I'm going to do is to walk through how you would do a session of EFT on yourself, which is what I love about it, is that you can do it yourself. So first of all, you have to tune into your body, right? And I know right now it's probably painful because we're all in this place of something really emotionally painful going on. And it's okay if you're at a 10, right? Or a 20 or 1,000, or whatever you want to call it. But on a scale of 0 to 10, which is typically the scale they use for EFT, just check in with yourself and see where you are. So I'm going to tell y'all, about 15 minutes ago, I was at a 10. I was at a 10. I was literally out of my mind. I was at a 10. This was someone I just felt really, really, really hurt by this. It was someone that, you know, I looked up to this person, and I'm not going to say they don't love me. I do believe that people love us the best that they can. But when your beliefs impact things that impact my life and my existence, we have a problem. So I was at a 10, and I'm thinking about it. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm edging back up there a little bit. So, all right. But honestly, if I sit right now, I'm maybe at a 5 compared to how I was before. So you check in, you see where you are on this scale of, you know, how you're feeling. And then you literally just start with the tapping. Now you can use statements. There are statements to use. You don't even have to use statements. That's the beautiful thing about this. So I'm going to walk you through the steps. You can follow along. Don't follow along if you're like driving or not seated somewhere. Okay. So the first place to start is on the side of your hand. You want to tap so that you feel it, but not so that you hurt yourself. All right. Just tap on the side of your hand, and you can think about the thing that's distressing you. You can think about, you know, whatever it is. You don't want to turn away from the thing that's distressing you, because you want that reaction happening in your body, because the purpose of the tapping is to reduce the reaction that you're having to the situation. So, see that's helping already. Start on the side of the hand. And then you move to the top of the head. So kind of right in the middle of the top of your head is the next place. And allow that emotion to pass through you. Emotions are very physical things, okay? They're not things we think about. Emotions are things we feel, and they're called feelings. They're things we feel. So, you know, sometimes you may be sitting, you know, and we live in a world where people don't allow themselves to sit. So when you sit, things start to come up and they don't feel good in our body. And then we get up and we do something else to get away from it. But we have to let those things pass through us. We have to let them. Next place, corner of the eyebrows. You don't have to do both sides. I usually do both sides when I'm just feeling really distressed. You don't have to do both sides. One side is just fine. I think I'll do one side because it hides my face if I do both. So corner, right? Like corner of the eyebrow is the next place that you tap. Just tap gently enough that you can feel it, but not so that you're hurting yourself. And there is no doing this wrong, so don't worry whether you're doing it wrong or right. Next place, like at the corner of, right on there, right on the bone, not on your like soft tissue. Don't hurt yourself. Right on the bone there, next spot. And let yourself feel. You ever notice babies, Babies will spontaneously just shiver, right? And it's not necessarily that they're cold. They'll, just a spontaneous shiver. It's their body working through things. It's a way for them to burn off adrenaline. We, as we get older, let's move down to the next spot on the bone, not in your soft tissue, on the bone. As we grow up, life teaches us to think. And so we start to think and we get really disconnected from our body. But we've got to reconnect. It's part of being emotionally literate. We have to reconnect. We've got to physically, mentally reconnect with our body. And then sometimes things do come up, because like right now I really feel like crying. That's just how that's the process, guys. That's how it goes sometimes. We have to let it. You have to let it. You have to let it. Crying's a way I release a lot. It's a big way I release. So the next spot is between your nose and the upper part of your lip. It's hard, y'all. I agree. It's a really hard place we are in as humanity right now. It's hard. And this is a good sign for me. This is a good sign for me, because that means my body is shifting and I'm releasing that pent up feeling that I had going on. So next place is between the bottom of your lip and your chin. So right in the middle there. Oh, it does hurt. Not the tapping, the feelings. Okay. And this is what I mean. I didn't plan this, right? I was doing this because I know the tapping helps me, and sometimes this is how it goes. Sometimes I just sigh or yawn and I feel better, and then sometimes I cry, and that's the way I release it. So the next place is, if you see like the little knobs of your collarbone right there, you go down a little bit and it's like right in that area. Some people do this. It's all perfect. Whatever you do. Whatever you do, it's all good. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope this helps someone. Okay, my profile's public. Feel free to share, use this. I would love to hear if you use this and what kind of, emotional shift you've had for yourself. Because the thing is, we have to be in a better emotional place to change this mess. We cannot change this mess from the fear and anger that brought this mess about. All right, the next place is kind of sideways. So like if you're wearing a bra, if you're a lady, then midway. If you're not, just, midway between the front and the back, under the arm, about 4 to 6 inches down. And you just tap. You can tap with your flat hand or with your fingertips. Same thing. See? It helps. It helps. It helps so much. Okay, and the last spot that I use in my tapping is on the inside of the, the outside of the wrist. So like where your pinky is, right down here. Those are the spots I use for tapping. There are additional steps you can do that include like the sides of the fingers and all that stuff. I've seen people do tapping rounds with even less steps than these. while I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you guys a really cool story about tapping. One of my nephews, ever since he was smaller, had this like visceral reaction to, like, when he was reading and he'd come across a hard word, it was like he fell off an emotional cliff. Like, he would fall out on the floor and cry when he came across a hard word. Okay, I don't know what the deal was, and I'm talking about when he was like 4. This is what he would do. So, but when this happened, he wasn't 4. He was probably like 8, something like that. And he was reading, and he was off the deep end, right? Like, he was like, I'm not doing this, carrying on and throwing his book across the room. Yeah, that's what it was. And I was kind of like, come on, just tap the side of your hand. Just tap the side of your hand. That's what I did. I was like, just tap the side of your hand. Come on, you can do this. You don't have to do anything else. Just do this, right? And I got him to do that. I promise you, in 60 seconds or less, he calmed down. And it wasn't perfect. Like, he was still crying and he was still upset. But he literally just went, got his book, sat down, and started reading. And came across the hard words and did not flip out. Okay, so that's the end. So end on the end spot, and then at the end of the round, or end of 2 or 3 rounds, whatever you feel that you need, check in with yourself again and see how you feel. Feel how your body feels. How do you feel now? I have to say that my skin right now does not feel jittery anymore. My skin felt jittery before when I started. My skin does not feel jittery anymore. Am I at a 1 or a 0? I don't think so. I think I'm at a 2 right now. There's still just a little bit of something there. But I'm gonna probably work out, and I've got some other stuff to do. So thank you guys for allowing me to show you this. I really do hope this helps. If you give it a try, leave me a comment, share with a friend. Okay. Thank you guys.